to, we can leave your friends behind. Cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine. I said, we can go where we want to, place where they will never find. And we can act like we come from out of this world, leave the real one far behind. We can dance. We can dance. We can go when we want to, the night is young and so am I. And we can dress real neat from our hats to our feet and surprise them with the victory cry. I said, we can act if we want to, if we don't, nobody will. And you can act real rude and totally removed, and I can act like an imbecile. Say, we can dance, everything's under control. We can dance, doing it wall to wall. We can dance, everybody look at your hands. We can dance, everybody's taking a chance. Oh, it's safe to dance. Oh, yes, it's safe to dance. Oh, yes, it's safe to dance. Oh, yes, it's safe to dance.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest episode of I'm No Joe, your home for all things combat sports and the place where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. The views and opinions presented on the I'm No Joe channel belong solely to the person expressing them, no one else. If we say it, that means we meant it. That being said, this show does contain adult themes, adult content, and general shit that you shouldn't be letting your kids intake. Be advised, viewer discretion is recommended. Proceed at your own risk. You've been warned. If it's Thursday, it's I'm No Joe. Pardon the peek behind the curtain there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. Today, as like most days, we have got a glorious panel here to get into the shit talking and shenanigans we have got in store for you in all the good forms of punchy kicky fun we've got to talk about this weekend. But before we get into all the glorious goodness, first and foremost, how you doing, returning champ, young guy?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Had a nice 2-day weekend. So not bad, but I am still disappointed because we are yet to have a single person after weeks of me talking about the Discord that is linked in the description of this here on YouTube at I'm No Joe. And for everybody that listens to it over on anchor.fm, we have a Discord channel, is linked in the description. Over here on YouTube is running at the bottom of the screen, the entire broadcast. Still waiting for people to go over, because we have our fan Q&A segment. You can ask a question that pertains to a particular member of this glorious bearded panel and then me. And you can go over and see all the other punchy kicky news over at our Discord channel that doesn't get brought up during the show. And just go over and have fun and enjoy yourself, the punchy kicky Discord. I'm still waiting for it.
I wish YouTube wasn't as assholey as it is, because I would very much love to just throw the YouTube video that I shared over there this afternoon and be able to share that with the show. But it's not as convincing when you talk about it, because it's not really that much of a story to be told. It's more something you need to see for yourself. Yeah, there's news, like you said, there's news all over there on the Discord that we don't really get a chance to get brought up, or stuff that's sometimes just a little too fringe or too weird to get brought up. It all gets put over on the Discord, folks. But that being said, across the octagon from myself, more often than not, as is the case. My Wednesday night homeboy, normally last night I was out doing some shit. Combat compatriot, Golf T Vapes. How you doing, brother?
We're another lovely day in paradise, one day closer to a long weekend for those of us stateside with Labor Day coming up. So that's always a huge plus. Thank God for that, because I think we're way fucking overdue for one of those.
Yeah, definitely lined up, I would say.
Speaking of kicky punchies, here's something that's kind of kicky punchy related, but we finally have the FTC involved with fucking McDonald's now about fucking ice cream machines. How many years in the making? And what's great is it's going to all boil down to kicky punchy on right to repair is what it boils down to. So there's going to be some kicking and punching going on there in the court systems. Pay attention, folks. Yeah,
no shit. That's going to get very interesting very fast. And it's always fun to watch McDonald's get the shaft for a change. Oh, but before we get into the punchies and the kickies here of this upcoming week, as we like to do around here, I want to do a quick little recap on some of the interesting shit that went down on last weekend's Ultimate Fighter 29 finale card. Vegas 34 / Tough 29 finale, I think is what they were calling it. Barboza versus Chikadze. First and foremost, I do want to take this time to apologize. I forgot to mention last week that Tommy's absolute favorite fighter, Pat Sabatini, was going to be on the card. And I would really feel horrible if I forgot to tell Tommy that Pat Sabatini was on the card last weekend, especially when he got such a fucking amazing finish in his fight. Literally 2 seconds from getting yoked the fuck out himself, turned it around in a fucking crazy scramble and just kicked ass and took names in a fucking spectacular event. So again, hats off to Pat Sabatini for a spectacular win. I know Tommy's going to be very happy to hear how that one turned out. I do have to say, though, I am a little disappointed in the officiating that we saw this weekend. After Sabatini ripped Jamal Emmer's fucking knee into shreds, Jason Herzog quite literally robbed Darren Stewart of his opportunity in the fight against Jacoby. Yeah, Jacoby absolutely rocked him, but as in more than half of the fights on the card Saturday night, getting rocked did not end or should not have ended that match. And the really shitty part is twofold on this one. A, Jacoby gets a fucking stoppage TKO on his record that he did not fucking earn. But B, after that loss, the UFC cut Darren Stewart. So Jason Herzog quite literally cost Darren Stewart his job in the UFC because that was a fucking horrible stoppage. I'm not saying Stewart was in the process of winning. What I'm saying was, as rocked as he was, did not warrant Herzog jumping in to stop that fucking fight. And it literally fucked Darren Stewart because of it.
Yeah, there was some shoddy fucking calls there, but that seems to be the case this year. I don't know if it's maybe this year more than most.
It really is a lot this year, man. It really is.
And I hate to say that because I know it happens every year where we bring shit up, but it seems like this year, being 9 months in, it seemed like we've talked about it more this year than we have in previous years. I don't know if it's because of the pure amount of fights that they're pumping out, or if it's just fucking some of those refs are possibly getting long in the tooth and need a vacation, man. Because
right.
I mean, working week in and week out and not getting those same breaks that they were getting before. I get it. You're making fucking money, boys. You do your thing. I'm all for that. Protect the fighters, all for that too. But at the same time, sometimes you got to step away from work so you can refocus and get back to where you should be, right in that lane. And I don't want to put Herzog in a bad position because he's not generally a bad ref. We rarely talk about him making any mistakes. And I mean, yeah, he protected the fighter, but at the same time, he also didn't give the fighter a chance to get his shit back together. Whereas there was other ones where, I probably would have risked to have seen them stop the previous fight with Jamal Evers and Pat Sabatini sooner, rather than literally watching the tear happen in his knee. And you could see it when they did the slow-mo replay of it. You could watch.
It was one of those Simpsons moments.
It was fucking bad. I mean, I get it. Maybe he got scared because of that, and he didn't want anything like that on his conscience. And I get that, man. As a ref, you don't want to have that on your conscience, knowing that you let somebody get permanently injured, you know? Weird turns of events, and then they let other shit shows just keep going.
Yeah, there was some definite fuckery. I will say though, one example of the polar opposite of that fuckery that we saw in that Stewart fight was the next fight immediately after that in Wellington eye poke Turnman versus smiling ow my eye Albie. I believe at the end of the match they were at, I think Wellington got him 6 times, all said and done. Like, to the extent they had to bring the doctor in and look at Sam Alvey's eye on 3 different occasions. In the third round, at one point, Wellington poked Sam Alvey in the eye, got a hard warning for it. As they came back together, poked him in the eye again, got a point taken for it. As they brought them back a second fucking time before a single strike was thrown, Wellington had his finger in Sam Alvey's eye again. Like, Chris Ione had to tell him, like, look, this is ridiculous. You're in control of your weapons. Keep your hands closed, son.
Or fingers up towards the sky.
Or, up towards the ceiling or closed. No in between, no spread out, no forward. That's not a fucking option. It's unacceptable. And the ironic part about the whole goddamn thing is that even after having 2 fucking points deducted for blatant eye pokes, he still won the fucking fight on the judges' cards.
And to be quite honest, I don't think he actually won that with those 2 points taken away.
I don't either. Minus those 2-point deductions, I absolutely have Turnman completely fucking outstriking Albie for 90% of that fight. But when you factor in 2 fucking points getting taken off in round 3, I can't see that as still being a fucking decision win.
That was an absolute shit show of fuckery. And to be quite honest, those 3 eye pokes in the same fucking round, in my own opinion, should have resulted in a disqualification.
That's kind of the way I saw it. You got a hard warning, you got a point taken away. The next one should have been a fucking DQ because you damn sure knew the rule.
And he did it in previous rounds. So it wasn't like it was fucking, at this point, it wasn't like he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. You'd been warned, and then 3 more in the third round. Bye, son. Sorry, you lost your fight. You might have been winning it, but you should have lost it. And I'm not pulling for Sam Alvey here. It's not. I enjoy the man as a person because he's very friendly and very nice and constantly got a fucking smile on his face. But he definitely wasn't winning that fight. But those eye pokes were fucking egregious. Like when you have Michael Bisping talking about the eye pokes and saying what that does to people, I'm pretty sure he fucking knows. The dude's missing an eye for a reason.
Right, of all the commentators to have talking about your fight when you're getting egregious eye pokes going on like that, you got Michael fucking Bisping sitting sideline, and he literally said, if anyone should be considered an expert on the long-term damage that can result from eye pokes in a fight, how you gonna argue with Bisping, folks?
Yeah, I really think they need to change the fucking rule on that. Once you get your hard warning and your point, a second one in the same fucking round, disqualification.
I'll go a step further than that. I don't think rounds should fucking matter. I think eye pokes and groin strikes should be a 3-strike rule in the fucking UFC. You get a hard warning, you get a point taken away, and then you get DQ'd. There is no soft warning for either one of those fucking things, in my opinion.
I see. That's where I'm a little bit iffy, because there are certain times when I can say, okay, you can tell it was purely fucking accidental, or somebody's going for an inside leg kick and the guy steps forward as you're kicking. Look, you can't stop those ones.
That's why
You're
the hard
in the middle
warning.
of grappling, you accidentally fucking poke the guy, those things. But what he was doing, reaching out, pulling the old school John Jones, let me tickle your back of your eye sockets type shit.
Yeah.
Not acceptable.
No,
Like when they're egregious and you can tell that he could have been in control of it. Yeah, I'm with the 3 strikes on that one. But when they're blatantly fucking accidental, then, like the first one, I say, we'll give you the accidental, even if it looks like it's on purpose.
Right.
I mean, unless it's completely, you can tell that the dude truly did it on purpose, just reached out.
Right. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like if there's an accidental one, that I can be okay with. All right, here, control your fucking weapons. But when you're getting egregious like fucking Turnman was Saturday night, the first time I catch you being egregious, that's your fucking hard warning. The second time you get a fucking point taken away. The third time you do that, let alone the third time in the same fucking round, that's all.
I think what I'm more disappointed in is because of how many times that happened. I'm more disappointed that he won and stayed in the UFC and they didn't cut him.
I agree. I think that should have been one of those fights where Dana White should have come out to the fucking post-fight press conference and went, Sam Alvey, we're sorry. We're going to give you 25 grand bonus on top of that for dealing with those eye pokes. Wellington Turnman, you're fucking fired. Your contract is cleared, null and void. You're no longer in the fucking UFC. Have fun wherever the fuck the winds of fate may take you.
Yeah, because if you can't control what you're doing in there, you shouldn't be in there. You're already there to hurt somebody. But when you're doing things that can permanently damage vision or reproduction, those types of things, you really need to be in control of.
Yeah, that was unacceptable. Completely fucking unacceptable on his part.
You could have literally gave the man a permanent disability for life. And not everybody is as tough as Michael Bisping and fight with a fake eye.
Go through it. Yeah, just keep on going. No, it was embarrassing. It really was to see Turnman get away with that. Hopefully something gets done about that sooner rather than later. But that will bring us to one of the shortest matches of the entire evening last Saturday. Abdul Razak Al Hassan, quite literally, and I even showed my wife this clip earlier, you can clearly see in the slow motion take, Al Hassan watches Alessio Di Chirico start to lean down to shoot in on a fucking takedown. And the second he sees his head move, you see Al Hassan's eyes follow his head. And as soon as that head moves, he just snaps right into a fucking brutal head kick that lands exactly on the fucking money and just puts Di Chirico on the fucking canvas immediately. One strike thrown, a single head kick, and the fight was over. At 14 seconds into the goddamn match, with one fucking move thrown, Di Chirico was out. And then when he tried to get up and contest it to the referee, he was full on in Bambi mode, falling all over the goddamn place. Still couldn't fucking stand up, talking about, I wasn't knocked out.
Yeah, the ground woke you up, dude.
Yeah, very firmly. No, props to fucking Razak Al Hassan on that fucking move, because you can see that he set that motherfucker up. He saw the fucking move coming and was like, nah, bitch, catch this fucking ankle. And he did, right on the money, and it was all she fucking wrote. And he stopped immediately, too. He knew that it landed and didn't even fucking think about coming for some follow-up. He just stood there and let him fall and looked at the referee like, you gonna get him?
That's why that type of shit is why people need to not instantly go in for fucking takedowns. Some people can pull that shit off, but dude, in the lower end of rankings, you can't go in because you'll get fucking highlighted real fucking quick.
The people that can land those fucking unmasked or unhidden fucking shoots like that, the takedown attempts that come out of nowhere with no setup, are few and far between. And like you said, those guys are at the top of the fucking heap. When you're just a fucking nobody still trying to scrub yourself up a number, it ain't the time to try and play fast and loose like that, especially against a dude who quite clearly has the sense of fight IQ and timing as fucking Al Hassan did. Man, props the fuck to that gentleman for that clean ass shot. The nice part about that, though, is that brought us right back around to the opening of the main card, where we got yet another beautiful finish GM3 just smooth as a baby's born ass, sliding underneath that goddamn neck, and just one of the most beautiful fucking chokes you have seen implemented. When you saw him lock that shit up and then lean on it, you knew it was fucking over. And that's exactly what fucking Meerschaert needed. An example of exactly what he's capable. And we got a baby face version of him at that, which was extra fucking weird because it kind of looked like he was a Paul Felder stunt double for a minute there.
You know what the weirdest thing about that fight was? It wasn't a submission. I know his ground game is great.
Yeah.
You watch the first round, he was picking Muradov apart, which was fucking crazy.
He
To be
really
quite
was.
honest, Meerschaert's fucking stand-up, not very good.
Not generally, no. Saturday night, though,
Dude, he was
on one.
I don't know if it was just a pure string of luck or if he's been training his stand-up that much to look that nice. Because I figured on the feet, Muradov was going to fucking murder him.
I assume the same as well. I figured until he got it to the ground, Gerald was going to be eating a couple of fucking shots. And that was
he did
not
eat
the
a
case
couple,
at all.
but still outstruck him, which was fucking crazy. So,
And the few that he ate were generally in exchanges where he was still landing the better. So it's like, well, fuck, Gerald.
To see out of him, it's just something I thought that was worth bringing up about that fight because it was cool to see that out of him. And to be quite honest, I like GM3, not a bad guy. That and he fights out of Milwaukee, so I mean, I got to root for the hometown boys, you know. Even when I don't think that they're all that great. So I mean, but he definitely gained a little stock in my category there for that. I'm hoping that stand up there keeps continuing to improve because he'll need it if he keeps getting higher into that middleweight. Because middleweight don't fuck around with all that grappling.
That is for damn sure. When he starts getting around with some of them higher ranked boys, you're gonna have to be on your fucking P's and Q's because they ain't gonna fucking play no games with you. Yeah, the Muradov fight was basically your last entry level, I think we could call it, match, where after that submission and the decent striking you showed in that fight, they're going to start stepping your competition up and you're not going to have room to fuck around anymore. Like, you're going to have to be on your P's and Q's and make sure your I's are dotted and your T's are fucking crossed. But I think that being said, if he stays on the shit that he's on right now, he's absolutely capable of doing that. And the fucking middleweights better keep their eyes out, because if he starts getting his striking a little more refined, gets his gas tank a little more charged, GM3 is going to be a serious fucking contender real fast, I think. That being said, though, we kind of said it. We talked about it a little bit last week. Props to fucking Michael Gilmore for the fucking 100% undeniable commitment he made to the fucking UFC. He absolutely earned his place on that card last weekend. That being said, he was in the house long enough with that crew, long enough to see Petrosky. Stevie Wonder could have told you his fucking game plan going in there last Saturday, and that's exactly what happened. Even some mediocre striking and distance work could have completely befuddled Petrosky. And even once they got to the ground, we have seen basic jiu-jitsu throws him into a dirt mode real quick. Gilmore had absolutely none of either of those. His striking just looked rough as rough could be. And when they got to the ground, he legitimately had a couple moments where you saw him go complete deer in headlights, wide-eyed, and look around, and you could tell his brain was just going, oh, fuck, what do I do? Oh, fuck, what do I do? And by the time he got an answer, it was too fucking little, too fucking late. And Petrosky got the fucking shot and then got himself all kinds of hyped up over it. So
I think the craziest thing about that is Petrosky didn't fucking gas, because if you watched him on The Ultimate Fighter, he gassed really fucking easy, but he was still looking pretty fresh. I mean, granted, he didn't get a whole lot of fucking pushback from Gilmore, but at the same time, the amount of energy, and if you're looking at the takedowns that he does, they require a fuck ton of energy. So it was surprising to see him not gassed in the third.
Yeah, I will give him credit. He did look better Saturday night than he did at any point on the Tough House, I would say. That being said, he still looked like dog shit to me, and I don't think he deserves an actual UFC contract despite that performance Saturday.
I'm okay with a fight-to-fight contract.
I was gonna say if they want to do a development thing and they throw him another soup can or two and see how he does, I'm okay with that. I don't want to see him get a full-blown contract after Battle and Turkios just had to put on those badass fucking performances they did after him that we'll talk about in just a minute.
Yeah.
But that being said, that brings us into what was one of the most fun fights of the evening, I will say, last weekend. We all kind of had a feeling that despite the shit he was talking and the strong face he was putting on, that Kevin Lee was in for a rough goddamn night against our boy D-Rod. And it was pretty goddamn rough. We knew D-Rod was going to have the fucking advantage on the feet. His striking is just so fucking crisp, man. It's so nice. It really is. And his fight IQ goes with it because he's patient and he knows how and when to throw power with his shots and when not to. The thing we didn't anticipate, I think, at least from my point of view, was how easy he was going to make it look by the end of the fight to just completely negate and shut down any fucking wrestling attempt that Kevin Lee was going to try and throw out there. And he was throwing a lot out there. It took him a while to get going, but once he got going, Kevin Lee was trying takedown attempts every 45 seconds or so. We were laughing about it towards the end of the goddamn fight. And it got to a point where D-Rod was literally just stiff arm and push him off or just fucking sprawl, put him to the ground and get back up and be ready. And there was just absolutely nothing Kevin fucking had from him, or for him rather, start to finish in that fucking fight. I get that D-Rod was a little frustrated that he didn't get the finish. He really wanted to knock Kevin Lee out. And trust me, a lot of us wanted to see him knock Kevin Lee the fuck out. I would have squeed like a 13-year-old girl at a Bieber concert. But another time, another day, it will happen again. Kevin Lee's chin is not as great as he seems to think it is. And we saw him stanky-legged a couple times last weekend. So it's only a matter of time. But that being said, I think D-Rod put on enough of a fucking clinic against that fucking clown. It's time to get that boy moving up the fucking number change. Put that boy up to somebody, put him at 15 or put him against 15 rather, if you want to start and make him climb the whole goddamn ladder, which is bullshit in my opinion. But if that's where you're going to have to fucking go, that's fine. But I think at this point, he's fucking earned it. He stepped up on short notice more than once now, and he's put on fucking spectacular fights every time he let that boy in the octagon. Give D-Rod a goddamn number, I'm saying.
Fuck yes. You can tell all that time he spent at the BMF prior to moving camps did him a lot of good, especially in that stand-up game. Fucking amazing.
His shit looked so fucking good this weekend. He was just on fucking point everywhere he needed to be. That, however, will bring us to the first of the two Ultimate Fighter finale matches of the evening last weekend. Ricky Tercios versus Brady Highstamp. I will say this. There was no fucking boring moment in that fight. Those two boys came to fucking bring it, and that they fucking did. Brady did impress me in quite a few different situations throughout that fight, but we all kind of had a feeling, man. Ricky is that special breed of fucking weirdo that just has all the right ingredients put together at just the right ratio to make him a problem for basically every fucking person they put in front of him. Unfortunately for Brady, he found that out the hard way. He was definitely in there. He was given everything he fucking had, absolutely fucking grinding his ass off. But Ricky was just that much better than him all the way around. It was not one-sided by any stretch of the imagination, but everywhere that it went, Ricky was just one step ahead and one level higher in technique and ability, and was able to just grind it all the fucking way out to a fucking beautiful victory, and then gave one of the craziest fucking cool post-fight speeches we've seen in a hot minute for the children.
You know, my thoughts on that fight. When it comes to the Ultimate Fighter and fighting for that fucking spot, getting that trophy, getting that contract, that ranked up there with the Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin fight.
I agree. And
It
they
was
mentioned
that
it on the
fucking
broadcast
good. Like,
as well.
by the end of it, I was saying, I don't give a fuck who wins. I think they
Yeah.
both deserve the contract here.
I was going to say, I would go to the extent that I think that even though Ricky got the trophy, Brady should get a contract as well. That's one of those finale fights that you hope to see, that the two dudes who were in the finale are the two best dudes in the fucking house. And they put on such a fucking close leveled match. They both deserve a fucking contract.
That 100% literally took me back to the Ultimate Fighter, the first one, the Ultimate Fighter one. It literally took me back to that fight. Sitting there and watching it with my old man last week. He goes, and he looked at me, he goes, this is like Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner way back in the day. I said, I'm surprised you remember that, you old bastard. And both had a fucking giggle out of it. And he said, I wonder if they're both going to give him contracts. I'm like, I fucking hope so.
I sure the fuck hope they do. I really genuinely hope they fucking
both
do,
of those boys deserve contracts after that fight without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah,
I'm sure we
awesome
will
match.
indeed see Brady back, though. Guaranteed. It might not be the same contract that Ricky gets, but he will be back.
Well, and you got to also consider that aside from being to the level, well, not quite 100%, but on a close level to what Ricky was on Saturday night, aside from the tough house and all that other shit, he regularly trains with Michael Chiesa out in Portland. Like, he's legitimately training with UFC caliber guys on a regular basis. So he's only gonna get better. He's 22.
Yeah, he's got a long career ahead of him.
He's got a lot of time before he's got to worry. He's got a lot of time to get better. He's got a lot of opportunity to get better. So I absolutely think we'll see Brady in the UFC in the future.
With the way those two showed up, I could see either one of them, if they continue to evolve, to make a run at the title. Both of them could easily, by the way they showed up to that fight. They both have the mentality for it.
Yeah, that was a beautiful fucking match. I was very happy to see that, because we have seen some Ultimate Fighter finales that didn't really live up to the season, where the seasons were great and then the final fight was just like, what the fuck, dude? That was like a week one match. Like, what the fuck was that shit? This was not that. This was a great fucking matchup. And that led us right into the 185-pound finale, the fourth Urbina to step into a tough shot. Unfortunately, kind of like we all thought it was going to be, he was also the fourth Urbina brother to fail his shot in the Ultimate Fighter. I will say he didn't look completely horrible. I honestly think he did look a little better against Brian Battle than he did against Trayshawn. I think Trayshawn had him kind of gun shy. I really do. And I think when he was in there with Battle, he looked a little more relaxed. He just, again, kind of like the Brady and the Ricky fight, Battle just had him he was on a different level everywhere that the fight went. And when that fight came down to the ground, Brian Battle put in the definition of a textbook choke. You absolutely watch fingers, elbow, chin, good night. Just as smooth as you could fucking get it, man. Rear naked chokes don't come much more beautiful than that. And that man absolutely paid for his trophy with a little bit of blood down his ear, or down his fucking eye rather, and then a little tear down the other side, and a whole lot of fucking pride, man. That dude absolutely earned his fucking contract. I don't really feel like Gilbert's gonna get the same situation where we had with Brady here. I like Gilbert Urbina. All the Urbina brothers are good people. They're fucking good guys to root for. The problem is none of them seem to be UFC fighting level, and that kind of sucks, because you want to root for him, but you can see he's just not there yet. That being said, I think he could turn around and go back out to BMF Ranch and hook up with the Cowboy Fight League, put some real good fucking entertaining New Mexico matches on down there. But Brian Battle showed up and showed why he was the clear fucking front runner to win that fucking show. That then will bring us to the main event of last Saturday, one Edson Barbosa Jr. versus Giga Chikadze. I gotta say, Giga Chikadze showed a lot more fucking power than I think we have seen out of him previously. We knew the technique was there, we knew the movement and the fucking crazy timing was there, but the power that he was showing Saturday night against Edson, every time he touched Edson with a serious fucking shot, you saw it physically fucking move him or Pez dispenser his head or like thump him with a fucking body kick. Every time he connected on Edson, Edson physically fucking thumped from it. And at the end of the night, Giga was just too goddamn much. And I did not see that coming at any stretch of the imagination. But we actually had a situation where Edson Barboza was out on his motherfucking feet and had to be genuinely saved by the referee, or he would have gotten fucking flattened out. He was just going through the motions because of muscle memory and was getting pounded at the end of that fucking match. That was one that I actually think probably could have been stopped a few seconds sooner into that fucking match, when you saw him literally bounce off the cage and kind of drunk dude wobble towards the center and Giga was still on him. At that point, I think the ref could have stepped in and saved him, but he let him take another, I think, 2 or 3 shots after that. It's like, fuck, dude. You hate to see Edson get fucking laid out like that, but damn, man. 3 times he got fucking dropped in that last round before the ref actually jumped in and said that was enough.
I think on that fight we may have officially seen the changing of the guard too.
I agree. The kick master might now be Giga Chikadze.
Yeah, because he outworked the piss out of him. What was really crazy to me was Edson looked really fucking gun shy.
Yeah, he was scared to kick against Giga Chikadze, which blew my fucking mind. Edson Barboza was scared to kick against somebody.
Yeah.
Those words don't even seem like they should go in the same fucking sentence together.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we saw who the new spin kick master too was, and it wasn't fucking goddamn Edson.
Yeah, no, Edson's wheel kick has since been passed on, and now his just general kick master ability seems to have been fucking taken over, man. I love Edson Barboza, but I agree. I think we saw a fucking changing of the guard Saturday. I think it's only downhill from here. I think Edson's going to have nothing but fucking really hard fights, and I think it's going to have to be nothing but spectacular performances just to keep him around at this point.
As much as I hate to say it, I think he needs to do what Paul Felder did. Get out while he's still got everything together and can go do other things.
Together. Yes, I completely agree. I think the only part about that whole thing that really kind of diminished it a little bit for me was when Giga got on the mic and said that now he wants to fight Max Holloway. Like, I get that. Everybody wants to fight Max Holloway, but Max Holloway has the #1 contender fight already booked. He's in a fight, and they've already said the winner of his fight is going to go fight for the belt for the winner of Ortega and Volkanovski. So you called out a dude who's already actively booked. And not only that, but if he wins his fight, his next fight is also predetermined. So best case scenario, you're waiting 3 fights down in the line if things fall bad for Max. I get it. Everybody wants to fight fucking Holloway, and I understand it. I understand why, because that's a fucking name that if you get on your fucking resume and your W column means something. But if you literally just look at the calendar, you kind of wasted your moment, man. And that was kind of a big moment.
Yeah, because he had there's a fuck ton of people that are above him in rank that would have been great call outs for him to go in. And there's quite a few of them that I personally think he could destroy. But, you know, I mean, when you say shit like that on the mic, it makes you wonder. Like, I mean, he could have called out Calvin Cater, and that would have been a good call out.
That would have been a perfect call out, dude.
I mean, he could have called out the Korean Zombie for Christ's sakes if he wanted to. Why not call out some of those guys that are definitely ranked well above you for a good reason?
Right. And open right now, not booked for a goddamn fight at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, like doing a call out to Max, you pretty much just said, "Hey, I want to fight Max." Yeah, that's going to be booked maybe a year from now
At best.
because
At
yeah,
best, yeah.
you're looking at getting that fight in a year ish because that the title fight for Ortega is coming up relatively soon. 4 to 6 months, and then they'll get the Max Holloway versus the winner of that, and then another 4 to 6 months. Then maybe you can get your shot. So you're looking roughly a fucking year to a year and a half just to say, hey, you're booked to fight Max Holloway, and then it's going to be another month, 2 months down the line before you get that fight. Stay fucking active. Don't try and bench yourself. Stay active. Go up fucking 2-3 ranks. Fucking grind your way up and make fucking money in the process. Doesn't matter if you think you can win the fight or not. Fucking make money. Fucking grind and train like a motherfucker.
Not only that, but look at how Ortega literally got his title shot. He called out the zombie. He beat the zombie. He got the title shot. Zombie's open and coming off a loss. Why would you not call out Zombie and then hope to beat his ass just like Ortega did and get yourself a fucking title shot versus calling out Max once his fights are done or once you're already in the title picture?
Yeah, and we already know what happens because Max wins this next fight. He's getting the title shot, so that you're not going to see
the
him.
title shot. Damn right.
Fuck. So he's gonna end up fighting the winner of Ortega and fucking Volkanovski.
Yep. Which either way, to be fair, I'm still down for.
Yeah, it'll be a good fight either way. I mean, because to be quite honest, if he fights Brian Ortega again, I would love to see that just to see how Ortega bounces back from the previous one and what he does differently.
Changed up.
But to be quite honest, I still think he deserves another shot at Volkanovski. But that's just me.
I agree.
I mean, either way that works, Max is definitely going to be getting another shot at the belt because after that last performance, 700 strikes in one fight.
New record. Yeah. Literal fucking record in strikes. Yeah, you got to, man. You got to.
Such a weird fucking call out, man. Maybe, you know what? Let me say this. Maybe it's a lost in translation thing. Maybe there's something that has to do with the translation from the language he speaks in Georgia to English that doesn't translate well to say, oh, I need the next guy up on the list. It just goes Max Holloway. Apparently that doesn't translate well. Maybe there's a little loss in translation.
I mean,
small language barrier.
I can absolutely see how that's possible because most people also don't realize that Canada is the 10th Hawaiian island. So I can absolutely see how the translation in Georgian instead of next ranked fighter comes out to Max Holloway.
Yeah.
Languages are funny like that sometimes. I get it.
And I'll even go this far. You know what? I'm not going to give you a pass for letting that dumb shit fall out of your mouth. Maybe, just maybe though, maybe you were a little too hyped in the moment and couldn't fucking think straight. And I get it, because that was a pretty fucking great win. And you're a little too hyped up on your own sauce and thinking, oh, I just beat the number ranked 9 guy. I should automatically get a shot at the number 1 guy. Dude, that's not how that works. This is a stacked fucking division that you're in.
One of the most, yeah.
Yeah, you're not in a fucking in this case, I would say like the fucking goddamn what's a least stacked division right now? Maybe I would say probably, as much as I hate to say this, probably middleweight. Probably middleweight is the least.
What I was gonna say is middleweight is probably the most boring division in the UFC.
And that's
right
that's no fucking shade at Izzy, because Izzy has fucking gotten there for a reason and dismantled everybody there at the top, minus a couple people that if they win, they might get a shot at him.
Well, plus it takes 2 to tango. So if you can't get yourself to a title fight, then it doesn't really fucking matter.
Yep, that's right. No, I mean that's why I say that it's one of those weird situations. I just don't think he thought. Like, he literally had diarrhea of the mouth. He opened it and shit just fell out on the floor.
Yeah. I agree. Great fucking fight though. Great goddamn fight.
By all means, fantastic fight. Terrible fucking call.
Yeah. One of the weird slash, I don't want to say aggravating, we'll say frustrating moments that we had after that spectacular card with a couple of fucking great matchups, a couple of great finishes. What everybody pretty much thought we knew where it was going to go bonus wise. Excuse me. They sat down and decided that they were going to fuck it all up. No official fight of the night bonus, 4 performance of the night bonuses. Razak Al Hassan for that fucking beautiful one kick. He absolutely deserved a bonus for that. GM3 for that beautiful choke. He deserved that. Pat Sabatini for that beautiful fucking finish. He absolutely deserved himself a bonus for that. Tommy be extra excited.
Yeah, that knee bar was nasty.
And then Giga for the fucking hard fucking stop against Edson Barbosa. And it was like, on one hand, you're like, yeah, those are all great fucking stoppages. So I can absolutely see how every one of those fucking fights deserved a performance of the night. But it literally wasn't until the press conference when someone asked him about it and Dana went, oh shit, how did we miss that? No, we're going to give Ricky and Brady an unofficial fight of the night bonus as well. So it's like, why did that have to happen?
And why wasn't it official? Like, I would have said, you know what? Yeah, that's official. That wasn't
we talked about it during the fight. We said right away, as soon as that was over, that's fight of the goddamn night. Unless the fucking main event or the other fucking Ultimate Fighter battle put on a better show, that was fight of the goddamn night. There was no competition, rather.
To be quite honest, that ranks up there with one of the best fights of the year. It's not quite to the fucking Figueiredo Moreno level, but it was pretty goddamn close for 3 rounds.
I would say it's just a notch. I would say it's the next notch below Joanna Wiley.
Yeah.
I would say it's right up there, but just a little below those fucking ladies going, hey.
Yeah, fucking crazy fight. And
yeah, so
no fight of the night. Fuck off.
Weird that it had to come out that way. And that's why I say frustrating, because if you're going to give 4 performance of the night bonuses, that's cool. Give 4 performance of the night bonuses. But how the fuck can you sit in a meeting to determine who gets bonuses and not bring up that goddamn fight? So I'm glad that he decided after the fact they were still going to get the unofficial bonus, but it would have been nice to see it made official and give them the actual fight of the night on their tough finale match. So.
And I get it. Maybe if you don't want to make it official, because technically neither one of them were under contract at the time.
Right.
Okay,
right.
Cool. But you can at least have entered it in right away as, hey, this is going to be unofficial because neither one of them were under contract at the time.
Yeah. The fact that a reporter had to bring it up.
Don't forget it.
Yeah. The fact that a reporter had to bring it up and remind him about that goddamn fight, 38 minutes, 40 minutes after it just fucking ended. That was a little frustrating. That being said, we did have one other kind of minor event over the weekend that I did want to bring up. Just a quick little recap. Unfortunately, Jody Escobel did lose by unanimous decision. Great fucking fight. 29-20, or not unanimous, by split, excuse me. 29-28, 28-29, 29-28. Great fucking matchup. But the headline of that Invicta card over the weekend, the co-main event, the 135-pound ladies belt was back on the line and was won by a unanimous decision in a crazy fucking back and forth match. And then the ladies 115-pound belt, the strawweight belt over there, was won by a fucking brutal head kick. If you have not seen that fucking highlight reel, I highly encourage you to go fucking watch that after the show. It's literally just a 7-second clip, and she fucking right hand sets her up, and the girl is like Mortal Kombat, wobbling, leaned over. And while she's standing there, homegirl's like, okay, cool. Bank, head kicks her, and fucking baby elephants right down onto the canvas. It's fucking hardcore for a 115-pound lady to see the power to wobble her with the punch, but then the flat line from the kick. Holy shit. There's a reason the ladies Invicta champions generally get brought to the UFC shortly after they get the belt, because performances like that put you on the fucking radar.
There's one other thing. I don't know if you wanted to, actually, you probably didn't even want to bring this up, but I'm going to bring it up. I would be remiss without calling out PFL for this reason. Friday night was a absolute shit show for one, But why is there 3 hours of fucking talking and only 6 fights on the entire fucking card? Why am I sitting there for fucking from 7 till fucking midnight to watch 6 fights? Absolutely fucking retarded. Those guys need to get their shit together.
I was going to say, we'll use that to segue into the beginning of our news and recent events, because that's actually literally the top of my fucking news list was that fucking PFL card. Not only was it obscenely fucking long for the garbage amount of fights that were on there, and they were fucking garbage fights over on the PFL, the fucking most atrocious thing I can think of seeing in recent fucking memory, Cesar Ferreira literally showed up at the fucking weigh-ins Thursday afternoon with his entire right leg from the middle of his hip down to his kneecap, bright fucking purple and black and blue. It's been reported by multiple fighters who were at the fucking weigh-ins and saw this. So no fucking surprise when Cesar Ferreira steps into the octagon, throws one fucking body kick on his other leg, and then immediately falls down and grabs his torn fucking hamstring, and the fight is over. How the fuck did he get medically cleared to go into that fight when he could barely stand on the fucking scale to be weighed the day before? It has been blatantly accused by several of the other fighters, including the last guy to beat Cesar Ferreira in the PFL, that this was a very clear cash grab and a fucking open dive. You knew that man was so hurt he could barely walk going into weigh-ins 24 hours out from that fight, and you still fucking medically cleared him and let him actually go in there and try and make it look like he was genuinely gonna fucking put on? No. Fuck you, PFL. That's bullshit.
Yeah, that was fucking terrible. I think the worst part of that was them showing the fans rooting for that shit.
Yeah, trying to hype it up, like you're trying to play it out like the fans were all fucking hyped from the stoppage. No,
Like,
the crowd, if you saw in the moment, if you look in the background when they show that scene, the fucking crowd is kind of doing one of these numbers, like, what the fuck just happened, along with the rest of us who were watching.
Yeah, because my old man, he looked at me, he goes, that was fucking quick. What the fuck? He's like, He didn't even hit him. He just fell. I was like, yeah. I was like, he's obviously fucking injured.
Right? No, that was fucking stupid. That was fucking stupid.
Yeah, they're absolute shit show over there. I no longer will endorse people to watch that shit. It's a complete waste of your time. And when they're throwing shit together like that and then letting people fight when they're that obviously injured, you don't need to patronize any fucking portion of that. In fact, you need to turn the channel so that way they lose funding. Because you know what? It's fucking terrible.
Yeah. And we've kind of tried, to be fair, we've kind of tried to highlight when they've brought some of the more recognizable names over there. That being said, every fucking notable name that the PFL has brought in this year has either shit themselves fucking openly in their fucking first or second match, or just absolutely not even made it out of their first or second fucking matches. Like, no one that went over there that was supposed to have any legitimate chance to do anything over there has done shit. The PFL has been a fucking joke this year, more so than ever fucking before. So yeah, I agree. Don't fucking waste your time on those fucking morons. That being said, to the surprise of, I'm sure, absolutely everyone, it was confirmed yesterday that Joe Rogan is indeed a fucking moron. I know this might be hard to follow, but I'm going to give you a very simple trail of events here, okay? Joe Rogan skips a UFC pay-per-view to do comedy. Joe Rogan goes to Florida, where they refuse to use mask mandates or vaccine requirements. Joe Rogan gets the fucking Rona. Bad part is that that's not the end of the dots. The following dot is that Joe Rogan openly took the fucking horse dewormer and then told people about it. I want to make this as window pane clear as I possibly fucking can. I'm not a medical professional. I would never be so bold as to give people medical advice. What I will tell you is don't for a fucking second take a drop of medical advice from Joe Rogan. There's a reason that the FDA had to literally make a fucking announcement that said, people aren't horses, people aren't cows, stop it. The thing that they were talking about is the horse drug that Joe Rogan took and then bragged about. Again, like the FDA said, stop it. That being said, on to things that don't relate to idiots. We have got a very interesting Friday lined up tomorrow that a lot of folks might not even realize. Twofold here. One, literally, One Fighting Championship, how about that segue, is putting on their all-female card called One Championship Empower tomorrow on Friday. The interesting bit is because of the time difference on the other side of the planet, in order to watch One FC's Empower card, where they are starting their Grand Prix Atom Weight Championship, which is going to be fucking spectacular. It starts Friday night, local time here in the States. That means it starts at 8:35 a.m. Eastern.
Tomorrow.
So you might want to catch that one on replay. But in case any of you are up at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning for some fucking reason with nothing to do and fights on your mind, you have an option. I will say, what is her name? Elise, I forgot her fucking last name. I'm sorry. Elise Anderson, a fucking COVID nurse turned pro fighter, literally quit her hospital job last month when her management got her enough monthly sponsorships to take over the place of her paychecks so she can now train full time, and will be making her debut in One FC in the Atomweight Grand Prix. So I am fucking super excited to see how Elise Anderson does. That being said, Stamp Fairtex is also in the fucking Grand Prix, so it's all kind of up in the air right now. But that being said, it will be a very entertaining card, especially for One FC's first all-ladies card. It's very nice to see that equality making it to the other side of the globe, as it were. We did get an announcement that was a little bit, I guess I'd say it's confusing for multiple reasons. We got the announcement on Tuesday that Bigfoot Silva was officially out of the main event headlining the Game Bred FC out of headlining the Game Bred FC main event that's going to take place on September 11th. That wasn't really surprising if you followed Bigfoot Silva's career for a while. The thing that was surprising was the reason that he pulled out of Game Bred FC's main event was because he found out literally a week and a half before the goddamn fight that his contract with Khabib's Eagle Fighting Championship supersedes the contract that he had already signed with George Masvidal for the Game Bred FC contract. So now, instead of fighting on September 11th for Game Bred FC, he'll be fighting on September 23rd over on the other side of the world in Eagle Fighting Championship for Khabib. How that got this close to the event before it was realized, with two sets of contracts being signed by the same fighter, I don't understand. Does he not have a manager? Do either one of these organizations not have lawyers? Because this is some Bush League bullshit if ever I've seen it. But they're projecting that if all goes well, not only will Bigfoot still fight in the Eagle FC card on the 23rd, but then come back to main event the potential third Game Bred FC card they are planning for the end of November. That's a lot of ifs and buts, and it would take a small fucking miracle to see either of those things, let alone both of them happen. But interesting news in the fight world that I thought I would share. Speaking of another reason to not give two shiny polished fucks about PFL, along with the ridiculous fucking bullshit talkathon that they had Friday night and the clear open dive from Cesar Ferreira. We also saw the bare knuckle bad boy himself, Jason Knight, making his return to gloved MMA, and he fucking lost by unanimous decision. Credit for going the distance, but Jason Knight was never much of a great octagon fighter to begin with. I don't want to say that the gloves hinder his badassery, but clearly they fucking do. Because when you let him wrap his wrists and not his knuckles, Jason Knight is a bad motherfucker with a track record to prove it. But clearly, whenever you put them even 4-ounce fucking gloves around his little hands, he just can't fucking pull the trigger the same way that he does normally. So again, I didn't think it was the greatest idea in the world for Jason Knight to give up all the fucking hype he had built in the BKFC world to go back to an organization like the PFL. It wasn't like he was on the prospect list to win that $1 million to begin with. But then when you drop a fucking unanimous decision in your debut after the fucking spectacular war he had just put on previously in bare knuckle, it don't look good, kid. It really fucking don't.
Time to go back to where you belong.
That's what I'm like, I don't want to say that he should only fight bare knuckle, but like maybe only bare knuckle or game bred bare knuckle MMA. Like, keep the gloves off, Jason. We did get an interesting little myriad of fight announcements this week, though. The first one that we just got this Tuesday, Casey O'Neill will be stepping into the octagon on October 1st to take on Antonina Shevchenko. Should be a very interesting stylistic matchup on both sides there. I'm very curious to see how that one's going to play out. We found out that Bellator 270 will officially now be taking place in Dublin, and they are going to headline it with James Gallagher, Charlie Ward, and then for some reason, Daniel Weichel versus Pedro Carvalho. So one good fight, and then all of the fucking generic Irish wannabe Conor McGregors that Bellator could fucking muster. I'm sure we'll bitch more about that as that card gets closer and they announce more terrible fights that are going to be on it. Speaking of terrible fights, though, we got a confirmation pair of terrible fights that UFC 268 will be using to headline on November 6th. It is official now. UFC 268's co-main event will be the first rematch that no one asked for, Rose Namajunas versus Weili Zhang, only to be headlined by one of the other great rematches that no one fucking asked for, Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington again. For as big of a pay-per-view back to Madison Square Garden as that is going to be, you would really think that they would want to stick some more popular fights on that fucking card, especially considering the card literally the week before it will also be a pay-per-view and will be free and in Abu Dhabi and spectacular. But no, I get it. When we come back to fucking MSG for the first time in 2 years, let's bring the shitty pay-per-view card. Good call, Dana. Fucking idiot. Moving along from there, we got a pair of very interesting announcements for the following week after that, the November 13th card. The first one will be friend and fan of the show here, Ben Rothwell, getting back in there, taking on Marcos Rogerio de Lima. That will be a very interesting matchup. If Ben keeps on the track he has been, de Lima is in for a whole lot of fucking trouble there. The other matchup that we got announced for that November 13th card, not quite as exciting, but still very interesting nonetheless. Felicia Spencer getting back into the octagon, welcoming back Ultimate Fighter veteran Leah Letson, who has not fought in 3 fucking years and didn't do shit 3 years ago when she fought in the UFC. But they need bodies at 145 pounds on the ladies' side of the UFC, so they made this match anyway. Oh, don't expect that to be a great match. I kind of look at that more as a tune-up fight for Spencer to get back at another fucking crack into the title conversation again. So, and then an excuse to let Leah Letson finally fucking go after 3 fucking years. But you know, we'll see how that plays out as we get a little closer to that one. Then we got a trio of announcements for December 11th UFC 269 this week. The first one, Macy Barber stepping back in to take on Montana De La Rosa, which I think is a very interesting matchup. Montana damn well better get her fucking hands straight. That being said, if she can get Macy to the ground, I think she can fucking do work there too. So that'll be interesting to see how it plays out. The second one, the first of 2 title defenses on UFC 269. Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena has officially been rescheduled. They will officially go back at it. They are going to let fucking Pena get that title shot for some fucking reason. I don't get it, but whatever. See, I'm allergic to bullshit. And as soon as I said it, couldn't help myself. But the third announcement that we got for 269, the second title fight on that card, the one that we all kind of anticipated, we just didn't know when it was going to be. Well, they made it official. Charles Oliveira will indeed be taking on Dustin Poirier for the lightweight belt at UFC 269 in December. Now, with that interesting news, I do have to end the news and recent events segment here with a little more, I don't want to call it bad news. We'll call it saddening, disheartening, a little downtrodden, kind of pulls on your heartstrings, tugs at the feels a little bit. It hasn't really been covered a whole lot by MMA journalists and MMA media as a whole. And I don't really understand it because it definitely deserves more acclaim than it's getting. It deserves more attention than it's getting. But we got official word this week, boys and girls. Phil Brooks is never coming back to MMA. CM Punk has officially retired from MMA. He's only wrestling from here on out. So I know that is going to break a lot of hearts, and I know that there are a lot of folks tearing up right now. We got to be strong. Keep it together for Punk. That being said, now is the time where we advocate for those of you who are listening to tune in to the visual part. Oh, wait, we've got to hold up.
You have a hold up. This is one I did want to talk about. Specifically the announcement of the Raging Al and Bobby Green fight.
Yes.
Especially because it was brought up, for those of you who don't pay attention to Ariel Helwani at all. He had Raging Al on the show about that. And apparently this last weekend, as Raging Al was just getting back from training, he went to sit down and watch this tough finale card. Turned on the prelims, passed out, woke up during the main event or just after it finished or whatever the case may be. Had thousands of fucking text messages and emails and Instagram posts and whatever shit blowing him up. But when the fuck did you sign the fight? He never signed a contract for the fight, but they released it. The UFC released it as an announcement prior to Al Iaquinta signing anything. So I thought that was a little shoddy bit of a fucking release on the UFC's part, saying, hey, this fight's going down on this day, but nobody signed a contract, or specifically Al didn't sign a contract at that point.
Yeah, Al literally didn't have his contract signed yet because there were still details he wanted to discuss with the UFC after his last fight before he committed to the fight with Bobby Green.
Yeah.
So yeah, they kind of pushed his hand, and the UFC does this quite a bit. we try not to talk about it too much because it's a fucking dick move when they do it. But the UFC does this quite a bit. They will announce a fight that hasn't officially been signed by both parties as a power move, as a dick flex to try and force the other person who hasn't signed yet to sign the fucking contract already and to stop whatever negotiation attempts like this situation Al Iaquinta was doing. And he said specifically, they have done this to him twice before, where he's tried to negotiate little details in his contract before his next match comes up. And without having him sign the fucking contract, they announced the goddamn fight publicly as official. So
this Al is the same person who walked away from MMA for a long fucking time because of shit like this. I like watching Al Iaquinta fight. There's something about that motherfucker that draws me in, and I want to watch him fight. The UFC keeps doing him dirty like this. We're not going to get to see him much longer. He makes plenty of money selling fucking homes in ritzy.
I was going to say, one of the best fucking real estate agents in the fucking New England area. He don't have to fucking fight. He hasn't had to fight for a long time, and he's been pretty open about that. Yeah. He makes more than good enough money as a fucking real estate agent. He don't have to goddamn fight. Conor ain't the only guy who don't need to box. Yeah.
But he doesn't have to. I'm like, come on, guys, don't keep fucking him. Just watching that pop up, it kind of pissed me off. And I was like, look, that did need to be addressed because that is some shoddy business practices. I mean, we know the UFC has some shoddy business practices, but that's really fucking fine, especially on a guy who, right now, he's pretty vocal about fucking everything that goes on. He's not one that keeps quiet because there's not enough money in the sea for that motherfucker to pay him off to shut his mouth. Unfortunately, that comes with where he was brought up and how he lives. That's the kind of person he is. So you're not going to shut him up the fucking money. Then you're going to do some bullshit like this. Of course, he's going to call you out to a big fucking MMA outlet on fucking talking to Ariel Helwani on it. Just saying, some shit that needs to be brought up, and not necessarily that we need to dive deep into, but something I thought was worth a mention because that's just another case of the UFC being shoddy motherfuckers.
Right, yeah. Dana being the douchebag that he fucking is. I
not to mention, why is Bobby Green fighting again? It's so
that was one of the things that tripped me out about the whole thing. Like, Al negotiating a contract, I understand, but why the fuck is he negotiating a contract for Bobby Green, who just got his ass kicked, 2 fucking weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? Yeah. Like, and he took some shots. Like, he's gonna need a couple weeks to heal and then start training again. Like, but they're gonna throw him right back in.
Yeah,
and against Al of all people.
How long was his medical fucking for? Because it had to be 6 weeks or minimum, I think, right?
At least, yeah, you would think.
So I mean, dude's not even off a medical clearance yet, and you're fucking telling him he's got to fight. Crazy shit's going on there. But either way, just felt it was worth a mention before we get into the pit shenaniganry.
Understandable. That being said, though, that will bring us to the point where we advocate for all of you who are listening to the show via your podcast platform consumption of choice through anchor.fm/I'mNoJoe. This is the point where we advocate for you to try and make a little time on a Thursday night so you could see this beautiful and terrifying gift that lets all the visual viewers know we are now entering the pit. The point at which the I'm No Joe podcast becomes a competition. The point where we put our panelists head to head to determine who comes out the victor and the champion at the end of the night. So tonight, we bring you fine folks a card full of, a event, I guess it would be, full of questions about the card being UFC Fight Night Brunson versus Till, this Saturday's early card. For those of you who were not aware, main card this weekend starts at 3 p.m. Central Time. This is not our typical late Vegas card that we generally have from the Apex. This will be an early card. What are they saying? Prelims, they are saying, will start at 12:30 Central Time. So, man, I did not realize it was that early. That's going to definitely need coffee. Okay, so
get up early that day.
Yeah, that's going to require coffee for sure. Fuck. Well, I didn't realize it was quite that early, but I did realize it was an early card. But with that being said, our first question of the evening, gentlemen, we're bringing it back to the way we like to do here. I would like to know your opinion of the most overhyped fight on the card for the UFC this weekend. RJ, being is that you are now the current champion, you will get the first question, sir.
Oh God, the fucking main event, blonde bitch ass Brunson versus fucking goddamn fucking his name Darren Till. I his first name couldn't pop into my head. Dude, you're two fucking mediocre at best fucking fighters. The only reason why you're fucking so high up is because you're in a division that doesn't have a lot of action really, other than number 1, number 2, and number 3 consistently fighting for the fucking title. You have Brunson, who hasn't had a good, who his best fucking fight was against like fucking I believe it was Lyoto Machida back in fucking 2017, whenever Machida was fucking getting ready to leave the UFC. And what was Till's best fight? Oh, that's right. There wasn't fucking one, because they're both sorry pieces of shit. There we go.
Right on the money, too. Well, that being said, Mr. Golf Team, same question to you, sir. Most overhyped fight on this weekend's UFC card. You're muted.
I'm gonna say overhyped, but not really hyped because we're not hearing about it in the media. But you look at this fight, and I will say it is definitely overhyped, way more made out than what it should be. Modestas Bukauskas versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. To start with, Khalil Roundtree Jr., we saw a flash of potential, but he was literally a flash in the pan, and he's been an absolute shit show since when he first came in the UFC. He's on like what, a 4 or 5 fight win-loss streak right now, where he shouldn't be in the fucking UFC at this point anymore. Bukauskas is the same way. One fight and then gets his fucking ass beat the last couple. There is no reason neither one of these guys should be on the card or fighting each other. In my opinion, overhyped to all fucking hell. Please tell me this is a fight for somebody's walking papers.
I kind of hope so, wouldn't it? There we go. Okay, so carry 1, scratch that. So the point for round 1, I do agree with both points made here. For the record, I think the fucking main event is just fucking sad, and definitely getting way more fucking hype than it deserves. I also feel that Bukauskas is getting way more hype than he should be coming into a fight against a guy like Roundtree, who I like, but really has not done what he's been capable of. And we really haven't seen a whole lot to get excited about, period, out of Bukauskas. So I absolutely agree with that as well. We are going to give the point for round 1, though, to TJ. Everybody knows this main event is fucking ugh. So for stepping a little outside of the obvious here, we'll give the point to TJ for round 1. So for round 2, as I'm sure you can probably guess where we're going with this one here, we talked about the most overhyped fight for the round 1. So for round 2, I would like to know, what is the most underrated fight on this card? What is the one that is just slid completely under the fucking radar that people would be crazy to miss? So for this question, Golf Team, you will have the honor of going first.
I'm going to go something that people should know, but they probably don't. We're talking about right now on the UFC website, an unlockable character in Patty the Batty Pimblett and Luigi Vendramini, or Vendramini. Yeah, fuck, I'm fucking that up. I'm not that kind of fucking tongue. But anyhow, this is the fight for people to watch. If you guys have not watched Cage Warriors, Patty the Batty Pimblett has been fucking on fire, and he has a highlight reel to match. Now, he is not a knockout artist. he is a highlight jiu-jitsu practitioner. And I mean, when I say highlight, he's throwing flying fucking triangles and all kinds of crazy shit. And he pulls them off beautifully. This is his introduction to the fucking world. And I say the world because most people don't watch Cage Warriors because that's a European fucking thing. But to be quite honest, I think the one part that they fucked up on this card for this being what I'll call it, this should have been in fucking London, because with the headline and Patty being in there, it would have been a great fucking London card with this, but definitely underhyped fight, and people need to pay attention because that might be the new UFC cash cow. He fights great, but he looks like a fucking weird Beatles character. It's fucking bad.
Really fucking does, man. He really does. He's so painfully fucking European. It's crazy.
Down to the Beatles haircut.
Absolutely. All right. So, RJ, same question to you, sir. What is the most underhyped, the most underbuffed fight on this card this weekend?
For me, I might get shit for it, but the starting match for the entire event, mostly because there's a particular fighter, being Jonathan Martinez, that I actually have a lot of love for him. He's had a couple trips and falls over the last couple of years, but over the year of 2020, throughout the entirety of the coronavirus, he really fucking stepped his game up, really started dialing himself in. He's lost a couple fights, but every time he loses, he seems to take a step back and grow better as a fighter, filling in the holes where he has his fuck ups. But he's going up against somebody that only has one fight, being this, set for the UFC. So he's going up against a nobody, but he has some legit fucking skills for being a lower ranked in the bantamweight. That kid's got fucking potential, and I love watching that kid fight.
Interesting. Very interesting. I gotta say, I love Paddy Pimblett until he opens his mouth. There is something to be said. This show, if nothing else, I make a point to give credit where credit is due, regardless of how you feel about someone. Paddy Pimblett might be the only fighter that I can think of that has turned down 3 different opportunities to get a full-blown direct contract to the UFC and told Dana White personally, I'll talk to you when I'm ready. And is now here because he determined, not Dana, that he determined he is ready for the UFC now. There's something to be said in that. I don't know that there's another fighter that we could think of who's done that. That's fucking brass ones you need a wheelbarrow to carry through the doorway. So I will absolutely fucking tip my hat to that. That being said, the second that fucking Muppet opens his mouth, you're like, oh my God, go back to Cage Warriors. So you got to take Paddy with a grain of salt, literally. That being said, I agree. Martinez has got a lot of potential and he's had an absolutely rough road. And there is not really anybody talking about that Martinez versus Rojo fight. And it does have a whole lot of interesting potential. Rojo is a fairly new guy to the UFC, but also a very crazy fucking styled individual as well. So that could absolutely be a very, very interesting fight. And the fact that they're opening the whole card with it, we're going to give round 2 to RJ for that one. If Paddy could keep his fucking mouth shut, I absolutely would have had to give you the point for that one, TJ. But that crazy fucking Muppet, he's got Beatlemania to the core, and he can't help it.
I think that's part of the reason why I like him, though, because he's got the right fucking attitude to become a star. Like,
yeah,
people might not agree with what he says on the mic, but he's got the right fucking go-tos to it.
He's got the personality that he could be one of those guys that people are going to tune into, regardless of how you feel about him. I can absolutely see that. So, with that being said, that will bring us to round 3. So, for round 3, gentlemen, I would like to know how you see this weekend's UFC co-main event between Tom Aspinall and Sergey the Polar Bear Spivak. is going to play out? How do you think it goes co-main event wise? So RJ, you can have this one first again.
Oh, just because it's been his fucking MO since fucking Aspinall pretty much stepped in the door for UFC. That weird faced fuck somehow consistently knocks motherfuckers out in a very unusual way. And I don't think it's going to be different this weekend. I think he's going to get some weird Hail Mary fucking hook like he usually does to end the fight. Probably say towards the middle of the second round, he lands a shot to put fucking Spivak down. But that's gonna be a fucking interesting little fight because both of them are pretty heavy-handed fucks.
Interesting. I can absolutely see that. Aspinall has definitely got a weird fucking right hook about him. It definitely is strange. I agree. That being said, question goes to you, Mr. Golf D. How do you see this weekend's co-main event playing out?
This could go a couple different ways, but I do want to mention one thing that you forget. Aspinall actually won his last fight via submission. It wasn't via knockout. His first two came in via knockout. His third fight in the UFC was submission, albeit against an aging Andrei Arlovsky, but still submission. But the dude definitely has fucking KO power. But we've also seen that KO power on the other side of the house, though, from Sergey the Polar Bear Spivak. That dude, he is, to be quite honest, I will call him a hit or miss fighter right now. Although right now it's more hit because he seems to have found his stride, which is a scary fucking proposition because you could see some major potential in him. Don't get me wrong, he can be knocked out. Walt Harris did it in 50 fucking seconds. Granted, that was 2 years ago, prior to all of the shenaniganry that happened with Walt Harris and his family. But this could go a couple different ways. But to be quite honest, I'm more in line to thinking that Aspinall does get it done with one of those crazy fucking punches. But right now, with the way Spivak looks, I have to say Spivak gets it fucking done because he's also gone to decision and he subbed guys with that kind of knockout power in a one tie to Ivasa. I mean, we got to remember that there. So I'm going to give it to Spivak. I think just because he's fought those kind of power punches before, he's going to have the fucking right tools to get the job done.
Interesting points on both sides here. I gotta agree. I think Spivak is the dark horse here. I think with Aspinall coming in on this fucking Vegas British Invasion card, there's like 6 different fucking British fighters on this UFC Vegas card this weekend. With Aspinall coming in, you almost have to expect him to be the favorite. I think people are sleeping on the polar bear, though. I agree. Aspinall has definitely got a lot of potential, and it's not going to be an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination. But I think the polar bear gets it done this weekend as well. So I got to go with TJ on this one here. With that being said, that'll bring us to round 4. So I'm sure you can see where this one's going. Round 4, I would like to know how you gentlemen see our main event playing out this weekend. I know none of us are terribly excited about it. That being said, we still need to talk about it. So how do you see the main event playing out here, gentlemen? The floor will be yours, Mr. RJ. Or, sorry, TJ.
Which fucking J do you want? Jesus Christ, get your shit together over there. Just you're the host doesn't mean you can fuck around and feed us fuckery.
I have to apologize. I was used to the championship role being the other way around and RJ getting this question first. So I apologize.
Fair enough. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. It was nice to have a week off and not sleep in fucking silk sheets this week. It was kind of nice. It makes you want to go back to fucking training a bit more.
You need to hunger a little bit sometimes, right? I get it.
Yeah. So here we are in the wonderful fucking middleweight division. Same vision that I said earlier is probably one of the least deep right now as far as what's at the top of the shelf. There's a reason why we have this as a main event, because to be quite honest, this is the best that right now the middleweight division can fucking offer. Which, what does that tell you? Derek Brunson, I don't even know where to fucking start with this whole fucking shenaniganry. To be quite honest, we already heard it. Izzy wants to give either one of these guys a shot, but they keep tripping over their own goddamn dicks. And he said they have to win. In order to get a shot, you have to fucking win. But every time that they get close, they trip over their dick. So I honestly don't know who's going to fuck it up first here. I want to say it's going to be Derek Brunson, and I think Till takes it, because to be quite honest, I think Derek Brunson is way more overhyped than Darren Till is. Not to mention, I just like the way Darren Till is on the fucking mic, because the dude's fucking hilarious. Not to mention his fucking social medias are great.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Till is very fun on the mic, and his social media, Darren Till's new Instagram account, because I think this is his third one now. His new Instagram account might be one of the best fucking accounts on the entire platform. Out of all of them, period, it might be one of the absolute best. I agree. That being said, over to you, RJ. How do you see this weekend's main event playing out, since we're all so excited about it?
God, dude. Okay, so hear me out. Okay, this is gonna be a stretch. I really hope as Brunson's getting ready, he fucks his leg again until breaks his other collarbone before the fight even happens. That's what I really hope, because fuck both of them. Okay, but now if they actually make it out of the locker rooms, I really, really see it being Till, because he's just a little bit more awkward, and Brunson kind of, I will agree, he is way overhyped for what he's done and his strength of schedule. He's way overhyped. He's fought mediocre at best. Darren Till has fought fucking top contenders consistently. Lost some, won some. Strength of schedule is a little bit better on Till's side, but he's just a little bit more awkward, and that's kind of hard to fucking handle, especially if you're going to be Brunson, because he's just a fucking overhyped soup can getting skyrocketed to the fucking top. But I'm hoping for plan A.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Brunson might be one of the most overhyped soup cans the UFC has to fucking offer. How he thinks he's going to get himself into the title conversation when he's quite literally the springboard that they use to put other fighters into the conversation, I think is a bit of a stretch. I do agree on both parts here. I think it's going to be interesting. I do have a feeling that Till might have just a little bit more of an edge to be had in this match, but I do think that RJ brings up a very valid point here. And if you just look at the strength of schedule between these two gentlemen alone, the losses that have on either side, because they both got some mixed records, but the losses on either side are much more detrimental, much more lower ranked on the Brunson side. Whereas you look at the losses that Till has, they're pretty much all top 5 guys or title fucking challengers or former champions. Whereas Brunson's gotten beat up by just about everybody the UFC has fucking signed in the middleweight division in the last 4 years. So I get that as well. But on the strength of schedule point alone, we are going to give round 4 to RJ, which means we are officially all tied up. And we now have to go into round 5, sudden death. So with the championship on the line, our question for round 5, gentlemen. Who has produced a better potential Grand Prix? Bellator with their light heavyweights, or 1FC with their all ladies atomweight Grand Prix card? RJ, being as how you now have the champion's prerogative here, you will get the choice whether you would like to answer this question first or pass it over to TJ.
I'll give this one to TJ because I have an interesting answer.
All right. Well, Mr. Golf T, the question is to you then, sir. Who is producing a potential better Grand Prix for us to watch? Bellator with their light heavyweight men or ONE FC with their atom weight ladies? The floor is yours, sir.
Well, I am a very big fan of what Bellator is doing right now because I'm loving the fights that they're putting together for that. I have to give it completely to ONE FC. There's nobody out there that sets up outside of Invicta an entire women's fucking card. For what? A fucking Grand Prix. Invicta doesn't hold a Grand Prix. This is fucking game changing. Other fucking places, Bellator, the UFC, can start taking notes of these things and going, hey, we should do something like this. That, calling it Empower, that's even fucking better, dude. Get it, ladies. Fucking put on an amazing show and prove why this was a great fucking idea. Not just for MMA or women's MMA, but across the board to show these other companies what they can do and make something better, especially when it comes to women's MMA, because to be honest, they get shit on a lot. And there's quite a good bunch of good fighters out there, especially in the atom weight area. We don't see them in the UFC because the UFC doesn't have an atom weight division anywhere. They don't have a men's atom weight. They don't have a females atom weight. Nothing. Because Dana White, oh, they don't produce exciting enough fights. Bullshit. Go watch ONE FC. You'll see what I'm talking about. Those girls have gas tanks for fucking days, man. Gas tanks for days.
Very interesting. Very interesting point indeed. So, RJ, that brings it back to you, sir. Who is providing us with a potential better Grand Prix? Bellator with the light heavyweight boys coming out, or ONE FC with the all ladies atom weight Grand Prix? Floor is yours, sir.
So I am going outside of the box. I'm looking at something completely different. I'm going to say the ONE FC Grand Prix, mostly because a lot of the motherfuckers that are running, scheduling, and doing all of that are all guys that used to set shit up for Pancrase. Pancrase has, in MMA history, the best of the best fucking Grand Prix you could possibly think of. If it was up to me, I would just say fuck both of them and say Pancrase, because whenever you think of Pancrase, you're thinking of the fucking gods of the sport, and you can't compete with that. So you have the people that have made gods and aired gods versus Bellator, which is just juiced up meatheads that we're not giving an actual fucking drug test to. Gotta say ONE, mostly because those guys built Pancrase Grand Prix, and those will go down in infamy.
Very interesting point. Very interesting point indeed. I gotta say, as interested as I am to see an unbridled Yoel Romero at 205 with the weakest of weak supplement checks for his potential levels of horse meat, shall we say? I think, especially since they're throwing him right into the fucking deep end, could be very interesting. That being said, between him and Rumble, that's all I really care about in that whole fucking Grand Prix. And those are two dudes that we've seen plenty of times before. We're just seeing them against different matchups this time. I do completely, wholeheartedly agree. This fucking ONE FC, aside from the fact that it's an all ladies atom weight Grand Prix, which unto itself is fucking spectacular in my opinion. I don't care what anyone fucking tells you. Dana White can go fuck himself. Ladies atom weight MMA is some of the most exciting fucking fights you will ever see in your goddamn life. So the fact that Chatri over at ONE thought to do an entire fucking card of all ladies and call it Empower the week after Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley had the only fight on their card not using 3-minute rounds be the ladies' fight for a championship belt. I think ONE FC absolutely is giving a nice big polite fuck you to Showtime and letting the mixed martial arts world know this is how you fucking do things properly. That being said, there's something to be said for a young cat that can remember the greatness of Pancrase. On that tipping point, we have to give round 5 and the final decision to RJ. We have a returning winner for the first time since Golf Tee started the pit here. We have got a returning winner, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, sir. Well played to both of you gentlemen. Both great answers along the way. I am just as shocked as all of you watching and listening. I did not think that's how this was going to play out, but the kid pulled Pancrase out of his ass, and you got to fucking tip your cap to him for it. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have got for this particular episode of the I'm No Joe podcast. So before we get out of here, I do want to thank both of these gentlemen for taking their time, for coming down here, for getting in the pit, for all of you fine folks' entertainment. That being said, if folks need to get a little more information on, how to find a Kenosha killer, maybe some fried cheese curds while they're on their tour, how can they get a hold of you after the show is over, Mr. Golf Tee?
Wednesday nights, right here, 9:30 Central Time on the YouTubes, the Golf Tee Vapes channel. Of course, here every Thursday that I could possibly be here.
Hell yeah. Thank you very much for your time. Always appreciated, sir. And our new returning double champ here, RJ. If folks would like to know how to get onto that newfound championship routine you have developed, how can they get a hold of you after the show, sir?
You can always find me here on Thursdays, over on the Instagrams at RJ MMA Official. And I'll tell you, I knew about Pancrase before I knew what the fuck UFC was. So I grew up in Germany. We never got UFC. We got Pancrase. We had that. That was channel 47.
Very nice.
But over there at Instagram, RJ MMA Official, and on Discord in the I'm No Joe Discord channel. We can talk some shit there. Just humor me. Pity humor. A fan Q&A question. Please, that's all I ask. Somebody. But thank you for having me. Like always, man. I love being here on Thursdays. It's a highlight of my week.
Hell yeah. So, thank both of you gentlemen for your time. It is very much appreciated here. That being said, folks, that is all we've got for this particular episode of the I'm No Joe podcast. If you enjoy what we do around here, you can catch us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all at I'm No Joe. If you are here Thursday nights live on YouTube, you know how much fun we have and how much fun the pit can be. If you are not here Thursday nights live, you're most likely hearing this the week after we broadcast over on anchor.fm/I'm No Joe. If you do enjoy what we do, make sure you give us a like, give us a subscribe, hit that little bell down there so you don't miss an episode. If you really love what we do around here, patreon.com/I'm No Joe to help out. Gives us the ability to do what we do, gives you access to behind the scenes shit, the unaired and the frankly unairable videos that we have gotten for this channel. So that being said, if you like us, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like us, give us a thumbs down. It's all good. But that's all we've got for this particular episode. So until next time, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of appropriate ages, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything. She really thought Bellator was going to win something.
fool fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times